Hi, 8th graders. It's Decker here. I miss you all. I am excited to see you next week. A couple of things, just some reminders, and since I haven't been able to actually talk to you in person in a couple days, I wanted to let you know that one, we will not be having a notebook check this week since I haven't been there. I don't want you to worry and stress about getting your notebook ready when I haven't been able to give you as much feedback as I'd want. Two, I want you to use this checklist that I'm going to go over. Ms. Tresik went over it briefly yesterday, but this is basically what we're going to be looking at for your memoir, your second memoir. And I've gotten some emails from all of you, and I've responded to them. So if at any point today or over the weekend you have a question, I do have my phone and my computer, so I can respond to it. It might take me a couple hours, but I try and check my email pretty frequently during the day. So just that reminder. And again, I miss you all, and I'm so excited to see you next week. So your second memoir will be due at the end of class on Monday. So you'll have today and then most of Monday to work on this. So I'm going to keep this really short. I know you've been doing a lot of drafting. So if you have not started typing, you may start typing today. Again, you may start typing your memoir today if you haven't already started. So I'll include that in the instructions on Google Classroom, but I just want to make sure that's really clear. You can be typing. So the things that we're going to be looking for kind of on your checklist or as a rubric, you kind of can use this as a rubric, is dialogue, where you're talking, and that's inner versus outer. So that's conversations with other people. Might be able to hear Thor. He's yawning in the background. He finds this lesson boring, evidently. So we're looking at dialogue where you're talking to the reader, right? It's your inner thoughts. And then also, like, what dialogue do you have with other characters or other individuals? We really want to work on elaboration. That's where you're taking something really like a small scene and you're really describing it, right? We've looked at our mentor text where I think in my mom's shoes, where she is like looking through her closet. It's a tiny little moment, but she describes it in detail. And then again, same like the first memoir, you want to focus on yourself. You have to answer the question, what does this story tell about me? I ask that to you a lot when I'm giving you feedback. Well, what are you really trying to say about yourself? Or what is the story? How is the story telling the world, this is who I am? And so you want to focus on that. And that's oftentimes where the theme lies. And that has to do with that conveying meaning, right? Making sure that we are using proper mechanics. So it's not just one big block of a paragraph, unless that's a choice you've made. But with our memoirs, we oftentimes are writing over the course of a couple pages. And so you don't want that to just be one paragraph. And then using powerful language, we looked at the piece Husband by Amy Rosenthal. I think, is that her name? Krauss Rosenthal. Yep, Amy Krauss Rosenthal. And when she was talking about her husband, she was using different language than just a year. She said 52 weeks, right? She talked about specifically what they had for dinner instead of just saying dinner. And so you can play around with that language as well and mimic what she was doing. And then also messing with the structure. Again, if we go back to In My Mom's Shoes, she plays with time. And we know that because she gives great headings of the year at the start of each like section. And so that would be a really great thing to mimic as well if you're playing with time. Beginnings and endings. So these are things that you want to be thinking about. And these are questions you can ask yourself. Does the beginning create context, right? Does my ending leave the reader thinking about the resolution? Like, what have they learned? Do they know me better? Am I being reflective, right? That's where that inner dialogue. So these things over here can be accomplished by doing the things on our checklist, right? Making sure that we're bringing out the theme. And then some of these fine details. Symbolism is not necessarily required, but I do recommend that you're, whatever experience you have, there is going to be something that means more than just a shoe or just a basketball or just a field or whatever it is. So, right, when we think about, Ms. Teresa gave the example to her students about crickets, right? When I was writing about like the idea of like regret and choices, it was always like this recurring, repeating, like kind of like I had this like kind of like fork in the road where I could have gone one way, I could have gone another, and I chose wrong a couple times. And so for me, like I wrote about how like, I got to the fork in the road. And so that was over and over again popping up. And then also thinking about playing with language, right? Making sure that you're using descriptive language. And you could also work on foreshadowing, right? And so those are all things that you can be thinking about. Again, this is the checklist that you want to 100% you want to include in your memoir. This is how I'll be grading it. And then over here, these are some things that you could be asking yourself and utilizing the things on the checklist to accomplish. That's all I have for you today. I want to keep it really short because I want you to have time to work. And again, you're typing today. So if you have any questions throughout, Ms. Teresick and Mr. Dickinson are also wonderful resources. So is the sub. So whoever we have in our class today, I think it might be Mr. Stolp, like, don't be afraid to ask for help, even if I'm not there. You can also email me at any time. So I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you next week.